Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Career Goals Club, the HR Bosses Career Goals Club. Um, for a special time only, we're doing these webinar series just to help you get up to speed about the world of COVID. How are we coping? How is the world of work going to change? And how is it going to look moving forward? So, welcome, everybody. If you're new here, I am Jamila Hollingsworth, and I'm the owner of the HR Boss. The HR Boss is a millennial career consultancy firm, and what we do is we help empower Caribbean people to be the best that they can be. We do interview coaching, we do resume writing, and we also work on the corporate side where we help companies, small and medium-sized companies, with employee engagement and recruitment as well. So we do a wide range of things at HR Boss, but we thought it best to do a lot of personal and professional development courses during this coronavirus period. Now, hi Tiana, hi Christina. Now, if you are tuning in from Barbados, let's know where you're tuning in from and the reason why you're tuning in tonight. So you could drop that in the comment box below. So tell us why you are tuning in tonight. Okay. So we're gonna talk about the world of work, how it's gonna change now that we have COVID-19. The fact is, COVID-19 is going nowhere. So before we jump right into the presentation, let me just introduce myself. So like I said before, my name is Jamila Hollingsworth, and I'm the founder of the HR Boss. I have 9 years of experience in human resources. And I work all over the world. Majority of my experience is in Jamaica, Barbados, and St. Lucia. But recently, I took up a new role. I'm now the HR manager of the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. And that spans Europe, USA, Canada, Barbados. It spans all over. So that gives me like a wider scope in terms of employees I deal with and the amount of jurisdictions that I deal with. Hi, everybody. Hi, Guyana. Saying Barbados. Christina Q is saying because I want to keep up to date with the state of the world of work. Now, from where I sit, and with the employees that I deal with the clients that we deal with from all over the world of work has changed completely. So let's just jump right into it. So I'm the owner of HR Boss. Like I said, I'm also a full-time HR manager, and I serve 7 countries, and I have clients in over 27 jurisdictions. So I have a very wide range of experience and knowledge of what's going on right now in the current job market. So it seemed as though coronavirus came out of nowhere. So here's a fun fact. Last year, when it started in November, I was in the middle of China, a place called Henan, China, based in Haikou. So for my 9 to 5 job, you'll see the girls there is about 8 of us. No, 7 of us, can't count. We were based in Henan for a couple of weeks, yeah. So we were there doing training and exploratory research for tourism to bring those ideas back to Barbados. And while we were there was a coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan, China, which is on the mainland. Now, we had no knowledge because we didn't watch TV because the TV was in Mandarin and we only speak English. So we had no knowledge of what was going on. The people who were hosting us didn't tell us what was going on. We only recognized that there was a change in what was going on when we got back to Shanghai. So when we got back to Shanghai airport, we realized that they were testing people who were entering Shanghai with those temperature gauges. So we realized when we're coming into China in November, like everything was Gucci, nothing was wrong. But then when we were doing we call that inter-province travel, we're traveling locally in China just to different provinces or states or parishes, we realized that we had to be temperature screened, and if your temperature was over a certain level, you couldn't travel. That was the first signs of coronavirus, but we didn't take it as anything seriously. Secondly, everybody, they were wearing masks, and we didn't know. We just thought it was the general pollution. China is heavily a production state. and most of the people in China wear masks anyway because there's heavy pollution. The air quality is not that great. So we just assume that people wearing masks because of production and pollution of the air, right? So that's the first thing. So we were completely oblivious because we had no knowledge and there was the language barrier. Now, in the Western world, North America and the Caribbean, we kind of didn't pay attention to coronavirus. We thought that this is just something happening in China and probably it won't get to the Caribbean, but it kind of hit us by storm beginning in February, actually. So the end of February, I think Jamaica saw its first case, Jamaica, Trinidad. We kind of started to get a little scared because we're like, okay, it's in the Caribbean now. What is going to happen to us? What's going to happen to our airports? What's going to happen to us? Are we going to die? That's how it's happened. So what does that mean for Barbados? What does it mean for your job? And what does it mean for your business? Now, in the Caribbean and in Barbados, to be more specific, there is a heavy reliance on tourism. There is a heavy reliance on us being able to earn foreign exchange or earn revenue by tourists coming to our shores. If our ports are closed, then there's no tourists coming, there's no tourist spending. This affects everybody, just not people in tourism industry. It affects people with Airbnbs. It affects hoteliers. It affects the taxi man. It affects the snow cone vendor on the side of the road who, requires us to be out and about from our house and being hot and sweaty. It affects the coconut men. It affects even us in private sector because right now, 1/3 of the Barbados population, 1/3 of the Barbadian population are unemployed. 1/3. So imagine 1/3 of the Barbadian population being unemployed, over 50,000 people being unemployed. Where is money coming from? And these are households that have children to send to school. There may be households where the person is the sole income earner. This has significant implications for the rest of us. Now, this 1/3 of people that are unemployed, it does not count for the people that were unemployed before. There was a national retrenchment 2 years ago. Some of those people are still unemployed. In the private sector, there's constant redundancies going on forward. Those people are still unemployed. So it puts a lot into question about how stable is our economy, how stable are our jobs, and how do we stay relevant really as a people. So one, what does it mean for Barbados? So Barbados took a significant financial hit, which means the government has to look for new ways now to earn revenue or to generate revenue in order to keep everybody fed and employed. Now, as you know, government heavily subsidizes our social services. So, for example, I don't know how many of you travel. Let me see here who's in the chat. Iria. Great. Okay, I'm trying to scroll up. So Tiana Adams is saying, I'm trying to keep up. I got left behind. Okay, Rhea saying she loves our webinars. Danielle is saying, trying to understand the new normal. And Claire McLean is saying, I'm currently unemployed. I'm quite interested in this type of webinar. Okay, great. So you've come to the right place. So our government right now is trying to find out how can we make revenue and keep the social services going. So if you don't know what social services are, it means like healthcare, subsidized transportation, subsidized education. If you are in Barbados, you know that when you go to university, the government heavily subsidizes that. Government heavily subsidizes healthcare and our transportation services. So if there is no revenue coming in, even if you are employed, it will eventually impact you in the social services because the government would not be able to afford it in its entirety. So what can you expect to see? You can expect to see an increase in probably the cost of social services. So whereas bus fare may be $2.50 to $3, you may see that raise to $5 gradually in the coming years. What does it mean for security of your job? You have to look and see, is your job an essential service? During this whole quarantine lockdown period, was your organization closed? If you are in healthcare, if you are in technology, if you are a gas station, if you are in goods like food, anything to do with food distribution or retail or even preparation of food, you're good. But if it is that you are in a business that is a non-essential service, you really have to look forward. You really have to look at your company and how the structure will evolve going forward. Now, let me explain myself in its entirety somewhere. Second. Okay. All right. So what do I mean by looking at if your job is an essential job or if your company is an essential company? Now, when they had the lockdown in the Caribbean in March, what we realized is that companies in the Caribbean were not ready. They were not ready for a shutdown. Companies did not have the technology. They absolutely did not have the equipment. They didn't have the support. So people were basically running around scrambling to get equipment, get resources, get technology in place in order for their businesses to continue. Even governments were scrambling to get these facilities and this equipment in place in order for them to continue to make money or earn revenue. Now, in the Caribbean, if you are from the Caribbean, you know that most of our employers were opposed to any employee working from home, period. So now, from going from a hard and fast approach to not believing that you could work from home and be productive, to now being forced to put systems, equipment, and things in place to be able to work from home, it was a major, major stretch for our Caribbean employers. So that was the first challenge. The second challenge with dealing with COVID, we did not see how heavily we relied on tourism and foreign exchange in order to drive our economies, which led to a major fall in jobs. Now, employers are wising up. They're saying, okay, well, if I operated my company from home solely for 3 months without a physical plant, and if I operated my company for 3 months and still managed to turn a revenue or break even with 50% of my employees, our employers and organizations right now are reconsidering or relooking organizational structures right now. So they're saying, okay, instead of me having 100 employees, right now I'm operating with a skeleton staff. Why can't I continue my operation with this staff? So I promise you, at this point in time, we have clients who are reaching out to us. A lot of clients that are reaching out to us and saying, listen, we operated for 4 months and we are actually more profitable because we have less employees and we're doing better numbers. We need you guys to come in and help us restructure our companies. So I think a lot of people are looking at COVID, especially in private sector, people are looking at COVID as an excuse to restructure their organizations and to reduce their wage bill, definitely, by getting rid of the large organizational structures for more profitability. We've seen it in communications all the time. There was a communication company in Barbados that was trying to be competitive with another communication company, and they trimmed staff just to be able to be more profitable. It sounds ridiculous, but it's the truth, right? Crystal is saying a lot of companies also have not taken safety seriously up to now, of course. So companies are looking at profitability. That's the word in COVID, profitability. So what does that mean for you as a job owner when your employer now is looking at operating as profitable as possible with reduced overheads, which means less staff and probably not even a physical plant? Now, I've been reading a lot and following the news a lot, which I'm suggesting that you do also. And in the Silicon Valley, tech giant Twitter has basically told their employees, listen, you ain't gonna come back into office because we are recognizing that you can function productively at home. We don't gotta pay for rent. We don't gotta pay light. We ain't gotta pay water. We ain't gotta do all these fancy staff parties because you are home. So they are saving a huge percentage of overheads from employees being home, but they're actually getting more productivity. Now, how many of you recognize that when you're at home, you actually work a lot harder? So instead of your 8 to 4, I recognize people calling me at 5, people sending me emails at 8, people expecting immediate responses because I'm supposed to be at home, seated in front of my computer, seated in front of my laptop to their beck and call. So I've realized during COVID that employers are actually getting more out of employees for less money. So even we've seen trends in terms of overtime. People are not even claiming overtime because there is so much uncertainty on as to how do you claim overtime. You're working from home, you're working 16 hours, sometimes 15 hours a day, and there's no way to validate or to prove your overtime, so employees aren't claiming for it. So companies are saving all around. So that's just a background. The background to keep in mind is, one, companies are looking to be as profitable as possible during this time. Two, companies are looking at their organizational structure during this time. And three, you have to look and see what trends are happening in the international market, because eventually that trickles down into the Caribbean market and the local market. All right. So let's go back to the slide. Oh no. So a lot of people ask me, Jamila, how bad will it really be? How bad will the fallout of COVID be? Economists are saying that the fallout of COVID is going to be potentially worse than 9/11 and the 2008 recession combined. Now, I don't know about you, but that is huge. A fallout being more significant than 9/11 and 2008 is something that I did not have on my vision board. In 9/11, for those who were alive to remember, in 2001, after that terrorist attack, we saw major changes in the travel industry. For those who travel, there were tighter security measures. You have to take off your shoes. You have to go through this body scanner. You have to answer all these questions. When you get to Miami, you can't use your phone in the arrival lounge. You have to take all these pictures and these fingerprints when you enter the US. So there was more tighter security measures on an international level. But that didn't really cause a big economic impact. But in 2008, just some 7 years later, we saw one of the worst recessions of my time, because I'm still a young person, of my time. So in 2008, what happened was we went into a huge recession all over the world, and we started to see people's homes going to foreclosure. Unemployment rates being up by like ridiculous amounts. I remember in 2008, I was actually living in Jamaica, studying in Jamaica at the time, and the Barbadian government could not even pay our tuition. So there was a situation where we went to do exams and our tuition wasn't paid, and we were allowed to take the exams, but we did not get back our results. So that's how bad I remember the recession being, to the point that it started to affect even the students that were sponsored by government to attend UB abroad. So it was really, really bad. So some people are comparing this whole COVID-19 pandemic to the 2008 recession and 9/11 combined, which is awful. Now, I don't know if you have been following the International Labour Organization and following their statistics, but if you have not, let me give you some statistics. In the USA, over 40 million people are unemployed. Let that sink in. Over 40 million people in USA alone are unemployed. Now, if you had to equate that with the amount of people in the Caribbean, that is almost the entire Caribbean region unemployed. Imagine a region of our size with as much countries as we have being unemployed, not having a source of income and a source of revenue. Now, how does this affect? Jamila, why are you telling me all this information? Jamila, why are you getting the point in terms of the impact of COVID-19 on my job? I'm telling you this because it's not an isolated matter. It is not an isolated incident. Everybody in the world is going through what we're going through right now. It's not just a Caribbean issue or an Asian issue or a North American or European issue. Everybody in the world is going through what we're going through right now. And if the superpower of the world, which is USA, was brought to its knees virtually by way of COVID-19, it just shows you that no country, no person, or no career is invincible. So tonight, what I really want to discuss with you all is how can you be a rock star talent in the midst of a global pandemic, and how can you make yourself stand out and be a valuable player on any team despite what comes your way. I'm going to throw up some comments here. So Tiana is saying the Caribbean laws are not set up to protect employees. Absolutely. We'll get to that a little later, Tiana. Thank you for that. So wrapping up on this, COVID-19 would mean loss of jobs. We talked about the statistics just now from ILO. Businesses closing. There are businesses that have been open that we love to patronize in the USA. I saw Forever 21 is wrapping up stores, H&M. Like, these are stores that I love, adore, and I shop at. And to hear that over 200 Forever 21 stores will be closed was devastating to me personally. Government cuts, possibly. There will be, in other regions, there are talks of government cuts. In Barbados, luckily, we've been spared, but there's this whole BOSS program, which is the optional savings scheme. Increasing debt. A lot of people, you might be more fortunate than others, but a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck or lived paycheck to paycheck. So a lot of people do not have savings. So having COVID come and they're on layoff, they're not getting checks as frequent as they should. A lot of people have been forced to borrow money from credit unions, take out loans in order to just get basic necessities like groceries. That has been, it's been tough for me to see people who were out there working honest for their living, to have to resort to getting loans just to feed their family. It's absolutely depressing. And number 5, it is horror stories everywhere you look. Everybody's kind of worried about their jobs. Even people who you would say, man, you ain't got nothing to worry about, you're safe. Even those people are truly worried as to what the next year would look like in the Caribbean. All right, so we have some comments here. Okay. So how is the workplace going to change going forward? Now, before we talked about flexible working. Now, this is a no holds barred discussion between me and you guys. And I can be straight. Employers in the Caribbean were backward. So they don't believe that you could work from home. They don't believe that you could be productive from home, or that you can be, they believe we have a helicopter style management approach to how we do things and how we manage in the Caribbean. So when we realized that governments were like, you have to shut down and you have to operate from home or not operate, people found a way. So we know as employees or HR managers before, it was just really an excuse not to let people work from home as a way of micromanaging people, because now it's possible and now we're seeing productivity and profits that we've never seen before. So I think going back into the workplace, a lot of countries have relaxed their curfew. As at today, the Prime Minister of Barbados has lifted all restrictions. Barbados is now COVID-free and we are outside. Everybody's back to work and life is returning to some semblance of normalcy. People are still wearing masks, still social distancing, but there's still some semblance of normalcy. Now, well, that's good. The focus right now is, now we're back in the office, how will it affect our way of working? We had 3 months at home, we've gotten comfortable at home, and we've kind of created a routine in order to be productive at home. How will that affect our mental health going back out? So a lot of employers have not kind of considered, okay, these people are coming back out into the workplace, like how will it affect their mental health? So we're back out, we're back into the workplace, we're social distancing, but a lot of us are still paranoid about the disease, because the truth is airlift is going to start back soon in July, and with people coming back into the island, we never know what can happen. So here's the gist. Employers are going to start moving to flexible working. So whether that be you come into the office for 3 to 4 days a week and you're off on Fridays and you work from home on Fridays, or you work from 9 until 3 and you spend the 8 to 9 or 4 to 5 at home to save you transit, right? I think there's going to be a greater move to flexible working, because no, you can't use that excuse, because it is proven to have worked during COVID. Next thing. So remote working for sure, because I was a big advocate of remote working before because I am big on, being in Bali with my laptop on a spiritual retreat or traveling the world with my laptop and being able to function on my job. For my current job right now, I travel a lot and I work and function anywhere in the world with my laptop. So it wasn't anything new to me, but it was new to others. So I think more companies will be forced into remote working and be forced into flexible working policy. Number 3, unlimited vacation. Now, this is new for the Caribbean, but it really isn't new in the world of work. Now, there are a lot of companies out there like Virgin Atlantic and American Express, which are two US, one is US-based company and one is a UK-based company, and they already have unlimited vacation policies. Now, you're probably looking at me crazy like, Jamila, if you offer me unlimited vacation, I ain't coming. But studies have actually shown the opposite because employees have all of these benefits, unlimited vacation, their plan, the physical plan of work is so comfortable. They have bars, they have snack rooms, they have nap rooms, they have showers, they have gyms, they have all of the working environment is so comfortable. People actually don't take vacation. So we've seen from giving employees a space that they can be their best self and more productive, people actually work harder for you when they're more comfortable. So I think a lot of employers in the Caribbean should look at the model that some of these companies have, like Virgin, Google, American Express, and should take a page out of the model in terms of building compensation packages. Now, I do hope that our compensation model in the Caribbean right now changes. So right now we just have, our compensation model is mainly based around base pay, low travel allowance, entertainment allowance, telephone allowance. We may get medical insurance, life and pension. Whereas theirs is more, they're able to choose what elements of compensation they want, whether it be more vacation, whether it be more maternity leave, paternity leave. I'm hoping that we move to that in the Caribbean going forward. So, Jamila, is there anything that I could really do to prepare myself for a pandemic? Is there anything that I could really do to stand out as a rock star team member? Yes, there are some things that you can do. There are some things that are in your control that you can become a rock star employee. Now, for me, when this whole coronavirus hit, I was worrying. I run a business. I have people that are dependent on me to be paid and are dependent on me as contract workers in order to meet their goals and their dreams. So I was panicked. Number 2, I work in tourism. Tourism, if no planes ain't flying, like no revenue is being made. So I was worried that, maybe I'll be laid off or maybe I won't have a job because there's no need for me because tourism it's took a major hit. Thankfully, none of my worries actually materialized. And what I realized was I can only worry about what I can control. Only worry about what you can control. If you can control your income in terms of starting a business or starting a side hustle, worry about that. If you can control developing yourself while you're at home, worry about that. If you can control running down your NIS checks, worry about that. But you cannot stress and you cannot worry about things that are out of your control. And that has been a major, major, major coping mechanism for me. So what I worked on was being a rock star employee. And this is my blueprint that I'm going to share with you. So look at your job security. Like we talked about before, are you an essential service or is your company considered to be a part of the essential services? If not, you know that anything that is luxury was cut during this COVID-19. So maybe when you're planning a career pivot in the future, you may want to plan your career around being something that a company will always need, like technology or risk and compliance, anything regulatory. Those are things that companies will always need, pandemic or not. Are you a rock star employee? What do I mean by a rock star employee? I mean when you're on sick leave, when you're on vacation, people call you and ask you, where can I find documents? Do you know how to do this? Do you know how to calculate this? How do you get this done? A rockstar employee is really somebody that the department, the team, the company cannot function without. So rockstar employees are normally the last people in the topic of discussion when you are looking at doing redundancies, severances, restructuring. You are the last on the list, because if you let go this person, nothing can get fined, nothing can get due, right? So you really want to make yourself, in other words, indispensable. Okay. Number 3, right? So we talked about if your company can carry on without you. So Jamila, how do I go about making myself a more competitive candidate? More competitive candidate is quite simple. 1, get your resume done. It might sound really basic and simple, but having a standout resume is integral in terms of differentiating you from the pack. Now, on a normal day, you wouldn't know the HR manager for a specific company because most of us are busy behind our desks, like going from pillar to post. So your resume really is the introduction of you to us. It is your, hi there, I'm Jamila Hollingsworth and I am applying for this position. Now, if your resume is not an adequate reflection of your skills and ability, if it's not presented well, if the content is not what we're looking for, if you have the skills, but it's not listed in a way that we could easily find on your resume, you are eliminating yourself from getting chances of being employed by us. Make sense? So you want to make sure that your resume look at your resume, even if you got it done last year, your resume is not a static document. Your resume needs to be redone on a yearly basis, updated with all these skills and these courses that you're doing. Now, here are a couple of quick tips. Key factors that we look for. Number 1, layout. Presentation is key and is king. We are looking for resumes that pop in terms of layout, color, structure, format. That's what we're looking for. Number 2, content. So content is, we're looking to see what is your experience, what is your voluntary experience. Do you have any special skills? Are you a graphic designer? Do you speak a foreign language? Like, what is it about you that makes you or differentiates you from every other candidate? That is what we're looking to see on your resume. What differentiates you from every other candidate? And number 2, how do you align with the job description that we put out in the advertisement? Now, when we advertise for jobs, we give you the blueprint of what we're looking for. So when you see a job ad, they normally have on the bottom things that are required or competencies that are required. That is exactly what we're looking for. So your job is to align your resume with exactly what we're looking for in the job ad. It is to do nothing else but that. Align your resume with exactly what we're looking for in the job ad. Got it? Now, I'm going to put up these tips a bit bigger so you guys can see. You may want to screenshot this slide. Now, if you are a person, you kind of have a resume, but you ain't getting results with the resume that you do have right now, you may want to get your resume professionally reviewed. Now, if you just want it reviewed to see, okay, if it's up to industry standard, that is a service that we do offer here at the HR Boss, and it's $10 regardless of where you're from in the Caribbean and outside the Caribbean as well. If you have a resume, but you know that you haven't updated it since school or probably 10 years ago, you need to redo your resume up to current standards. So your resume being redone is $25 and it will be reviewed by one of our resume writers. Number 3, if you are job hunting and you know that you haven't done an interview since Adam was a lad, the interviewing world has changed significantly now. How they did interviews 5 years ago is not how they do interviews now. So you're going to want to get brushed up on how we do interviews and what recruiters are actually expecting. Actually, we're keeping an interview masterclass this weekend. So you can either sign up for this special where you get your resume done and a one-on-one coaching session with me or one of our career coaches, or you could join us for a masterclass where you can have your resume reviewed for free and get our interview training session. Let me post that here so y'all can see. So this is our masterclass. Alrighty, back to my face. Great. What else can you do to be a rock star, competitive employee, and build yourself as a brand, as a competitive talent in the market? Number two, work on your LinkedIn. Now, a lot of people that I asked that are home all know during quarantine for 3 months, I asked them, send me your LinkedIn profile. Let me have a look at it. Oh, I don't have a LinkedIn, but you got Facebook. You always on Instagram. You on Twitter looking at tweets. You on YouTube every day, but you don't have a professional LinkedIn. Now, if you don't know what is a LinkedIn profile is basically a professional Facebook. It's a professional networking platform where you display your best self to future employers or future colleagues. The amount of opportunities, job-wise, business-wise, network-wise, that have come as a result of LinkedIn, it is honestly beyond me. The amount of opportunities that have come to me as a result of LinkedIn is it's beyond my imagination. So my recommendation to you absolutely is to get your LinkedIn set up. If you do not have it set up now, you want to get your LinkedIn set up. What are we looking for on your LinkedIn page? We're looking for a professional headshot. So absolutely no selfies. We don't want to see your LinkedIn profile with any selfies of you, with your phone. You can clearly tell as a selfie. You want to make sure that you have a good, nice background on your LinkedIn profile. No bathroom shots. No, none of that. So a good professional headshot. Number two, we want to see your experience or any body of work or any project that you were exceptionally proud of. We want to see on your LinkedIn. If you were invited to speak on a panel, if you are in a club and association and you guys did a major project, we want to see your participation in LinkedIn because it helps us to shape an idea of who you are as a person and who you are as a candidate, right? So your LinkedIn is very important. So if you don't have a LinkedIn, use this as an opportunity now to start and build your LinkedIn page. Number three, build your personal brand. Now, I get a lot of questions on branding. I've done a pretty good job, I believe, of building my personal brand. And I only started about 4 years ago, which is not that long. And a lot of people ask me, it's tough for me. I don't really want my face out there. You must be a really bold person to let people see you out there. But the thing is, I'm not. I'm actually a very shy person. I am bold on camera. I'm bold in classes because I don't have a choice. I run a business. I run as an HR manager. I have to speak to staff. I have to speak to managers. So I have to be bold with them. But in my personal life, I'm actually not a very bold person. I'm very laid back, right? But I've built my personal brand one through consistency. So if you are going to put out a professional brand, you want people to know you as a professional person who is an expert in HR, you have to be sharing content on a consistent basis about HR related matters. So whether it's on my WhatsApp, my Instagram, my LinkedIn page, my Facebook, when people think about HR in Barbados or think about HR in the Caribbean, I want them to think about me. Make sense? Good. Now, if you're building a brand, the first thing you have to think about is, what do I want to be known for? What is it that I want my brand to say to people? Do I want my brand to be, I'm a professional, I'm approachable, I'm management material? Do I want to be known as an expert in my field? That's the first thing that you have to establish. What do you want your brand to look like? Number two, now how are you going to go about getting yourself out there? Is it going to be strictly via social media, or is it that you're going to join clubs and societies? Some of them are free, some of them may be paid. So that's the second thing, like the approach. So the first thing is to establish what do you want your brand to look like. Number two, how am I going to go about rolling out this brand and getting my face and my name out there and making genuine connections? Now, for me, I like to network because networking brings opportunities, whether it's online or whether it's face-to-face. So when I go to a face-to-face mixer, although meeting somebody who is a total stranger is outside of my comfort zone, I make it a point to do so because I don't know where I don't know the opportunities that meeting that stranger and building a relationship with them could lead me to. So when I go to mixers, I make sure to at least walk away with 5 phone numbers. 5 phone numbers and email addresses, and I follow up with those people the next day so that they remember me, they remember the conversation, and I could kind of add them to my network. What I have found over the last 4 years of building my brand, that has been extremely helpful. There are so many people that I would have met 4 years ago and told them what I do, and they've been following my journey, and now these people that are business owners, they may have become a manager or executive manager. When they think about HR or hiring a consultant, I am the first thing on their mind. I am top of mind in terms of them hiring a consultant or them hiring an HR manager. So sometimes we want immediate payoff from building a network, but networking is a long-term game. So that's the next thing. As a professional, you have to network for like a long-term gain. Number 3, in terms of building your personal brand, your physical appearance is very, very important. Now, we live in the Caribbean, most of us, and Caribbean people don't play. We judge you based on like how you look, how you smell, like how you talk, where you went to school. All of that forms a part of how people judge you. So while we may say, well, I don't care what people think, I don't care what people think about me, I don't care how I look, a lot of that plays a perception into the opportunities people give you, right? So when you are coming to a job interview, or say you're a consultant and you're bidding for a contract, people literally judge you from the time you enter the interview room based on how you carry yourself, how you look, how you're dressed. People make preconceived assumptions of the type of candidate you are and if you're suitable for the job. Now, here's the secret. In the first 5 minutes of any interview, we already make up our minds on if you will go forward to round 2 or if you will get the job or not. So the first 5 minutes, you basically have to leave a lasting impression on the interviewer in the first 5 minutes. You have to capture their attention so that you don't lose us. There are some interviewers that if you don't capture their attention the first 5 minutes, that's a wrap. They're on their phones, they're writing their to-do list, they're looking at their tablets, at their computers, and they don't actually listen to you. So you want to make sure that you capture your interviewer in the first 5 minutes. Now, that's just a side, but a part of your brand has to be dress. So spend this time at home, go on Pinterest, look at different outfits, look to see how you could change up your wardrobe. You've been home for like 3 months, look and see what pieces you can mix and match in order to have like a consistent personal brand. I hope I'm making sense. I'm not seeing any comments. Okay, so the next thing is to improve your social media. Now, cleaning up your social media is extremely important. And why do I say this? When we're looking to screen candidates, like I said before, we look at social media to get a wider picture of who you are as a candidate. So we look at your socials to see what kind of conversations you're engaging in, what articles you may be sharing, if there's a portfolio online, and quite often we buck up in material that isn't useful to us as recruiters. So we may see, maybe a party poster or you jumping in a band for crop over. Those are things that we can't really utilize to say, you can't really utilize those to form a professional image or a brand of you. Now, there's been much argument about whether your personal life should affect your professional life. And let me tell you, it absolutely does, especially if you want to move into senior management or supervision. Absolutely, people judge you based on what you do in your personal life. So they're not exclusive. One is not separated from the other. The fact is, if you want to move up the corporate ladder, people will judge you based on what you do in your personal life. So my advice for young professionals, especially because people like to use that as ammunition, is to make sure you're careful of what you're posting on your socials. If you have a double life and you want to keep that private, create a private account on Facebook or Instagram and keep your circle small and make sure you're careful about who you let in on your private profiles. Do not post anything that you would be ashamed of or are scared of letting your employers know. And lastly, how to get some. Improve your interviewing skills. No, I can't stress this enough. I cannot stress into improving your interview skills enough. I've seen candidates in the Caribbean lose out on prime opportunities because they were scared, or they came in front of the panel and they felt intimidated, or I don't like interviews, or they lost their trend of thought because the interviewer may have asked them a question that they weren't prepared to take. And I'm always like, why do people come into interviews so timid? Why aren't we like bolder as a Caribbean people in terms of interviews? Now let me give you an experience that I had in 2018. For those of you who are new here, I had the opportunity to interview for the U.S. Department of State. Now, the U.S. Department of State covers cultural affairs. It covers the Chamber of Commerce in U.S., all Chamber of Commerce, some parts of Capitol Hill. So mainly government in the U.S. I interviewed for a position. I did not get it. But I made such a lasting impression on them. Like, I interviewed for a full-time position, didn't get it. I made such a lasting impression. They called me back, and they, like, a few months later, and they were like, okay, you don't have the full-time position, but we're willing to offer you a stint in DC. And I said, okay, I'll take the stint in DC. And the lady said to me, when I got to DC, we gave you the opportunity because you were bold and you were bombastic and you came in the interview like you had nothing to lose. And that's exactly how I want you guys to tackle interviews. I went to school in Jamaica, and Jamaicans are some of the most unapologetically confident people in the world. Jamaicans are arguably some of the most unapologetic people. If a Jamaican is in the room, you will know. If it's at class, if it's at UEs, if it's at a lecture, they will let you know that they're Jamaican. Either from what we call nothing up yourself, which is speaking, asking questions, volunteering to speak, making themselves present. And that's a major part of branding, and is a major part of being seen, making yourself present, not in a nuisance way, but in interviews, making a lasting impression that people know that you're there. So it means, in terms of questions, being specific, being very detailed in the way that you ask the questions, providing examples of your actual work experience, life opportunities, things that you've learned, things that you've experienced at other jobs, things that you've experienced during travel. You have to find something that's memorable to give the interviewer something to talk about. So interviews are not like before, where people hire you because they like you. It's also based on your specific competencies. Now, I want to address something with you guys real quick. I forgot to put up this slide, which is on branding, but we discussed all of this already. So you can screenshot this slide for your future reviewing. So I can give you a second to screenshot this slide. All right, awesome. So in our interview masterclass on Sunday, we're actually going to cover what are the current modern day interview skills that employers use now. This is not just in Caribbean, this is in North America as well. Most employers and most companies are actually moving to competency-based interviewing styles. So we're covering everything from resume writing tips, dressing for success, personal branding, interview etiquette, interview training, and we're actually going to do one-on-one questions. So everybody that attends this session on Sunday will have a one-on-one interview session with me, as well as I am reviewing your interviews. I'm actually reviewing your resume one-on-one after the session. So you're having 3 full hours of training with me. And then after class, at a time convenient to you, you're going to have a one-on-one session with me where I'm going to actually go through one-on-one a mock interview with you, as well as your resume. So that's going to be dope. So if you want to join us, you can just email me. Oh yeah, the information is below. So if you want to join us, you can email me at jamila@hrboss.com to register. Now, class sizes are small because I want to deal with about 20 people at a time. So I don't want large class sizes because I want people to feel comfortable asking questions and sharing. So I think we have space for about 2 more people. So if you are interested in attending this class on this Sunday, you can just send me an email at jamila@thehrboss.com saying registering for interview masterclass. Okay, so moving on. So lastly, starting a business. Now, if you have not figured out by now, one income during coronavirus is no income. So you cannot depend, no job is secure. You can't depend on one job to bring you through, and you shouldn't depend. If you are depending on one job, it's really careless on your part to let your livelihood be dependent on one job. So my suggestion for you is to create a side hustle. What skills are you good at? What can you do better than everybody else that people will see value in and are willing to pay you for? Now look at what the market is asking for. During coronavirus, we saw a boom of delivery drivers. 3 months ago, I could not get groceries from any supermarket in Barbados or the Caribbean. And now any supermarket in Barbados, almost every supermarket is doing delivery services. We have never seen delivery of so much food. The oldest fast food restaurant in Barbados, the oldest fast food chain, over 50 years old, is now forced to do delivery services as a result of the ongoing pandemic. You know what that says to me? In every situation, there is opportunity. In every single situation, there is opportunity. So if people during coronavirus lost their jobs and are creating opportunities, I saw a guy who is a makeup artist on Facebook. His name is Faces by Akeem. Nobody's going anywhere. Nobody needs makeup. So he's getting the kitchen. I saw him literally build a fast food business from his kitchen at home. He took us on the journey and now he's opened his own restaurants. So Bites Bim. That is an extraordinary story. So in the midst of coronavirus, you can't tell yourself, well, now is not the best time to start a business. Nobody ain't got no money. Who can buy from me? Where can get the money from? This is the time to look and see what skills you have, what value can you give to the market, and what will people be willing to pay for. Now in the Caribbean, we like our bellies. So if you start a food business, you can't go wrong because food always selling. There are a million established food chains in the Caribbean, but every day somebody gets up and starts a food business out of them kitchen and just get through. Somebody gets up and packs a Suzuki van with warmers at the back and pull up outside the office and they get through. So in that same vein, you have to think about, okay, what talents do I have? How can I package this, brand this, and sell this in a way that can bring an additional stream of income? Number 2, grooming services. We like to look good. There is not a time ever in Caribbean where we aren't in the salon, the nail salon, the hair salon, the barber, and we get cleaned up and we get rounded up and we're looking good. And the truth of the matter is, we might not have money for most things, but we can find money for food and we can find money for grooming services. That's the truth. We like to look good. So even during quarantine, where people weren't going anywhere, unemployed, laid off, people were saying, well, they ain't gonna open these salons, they're not gonna open the barbershops, they're not gonna open the nail salons. People were actually calling for nail salons and hair salons to be open because we in the Caribbean, we value our physical appearance very strongly. So if you're good with hair, you're good with nails, you're good with eyelashes, you're good with, I don't know, personal care items or, making skincare items or whatever, absolutely a good business to start right now in this recession. And number 3, juices. People are big no, and people will be big on this whole wellness and health craze. Even with coronavirus, we've been told that building your immune system is very highly recommended right now. If you can mix juices, natural juices, out of a lot of people into this like raw juice, like blending fruits and vegetables and drinking it raw and all these green juicing. There's so many like fresh pressed juices businesses in the US. I'm so surprised that that craze hasn't like taken over the Caribbean by storm, where we have so many fruit trees and so many vegetables in the Caribbean. So I'm just waiting to see the entrepreneurs that will take advantage of what COVID has done to create new businesses. Number 4, small corner shops. No, I don't know about the other Caribbean islands, but small corner shops have taken over in terms of during the pandemic. Some supermarkets were closed for 2 weeks and corner shops were allowed to open. So if you had a small mom and pop shop or a village shop, you were allowed to operate. Like, I told myself, when I come out of quarantine, I can open a mom and pop shop because those businesses were unaffected largely during COVID-19. I actually think that they profited during COVID-19 because people wanted to avoid tons of people and be in environments where there wasn't much perceived exposure to the virus. So again, look at what services people need. Absolutely need. Look and see what's essential. Look and see what your society or your community or your environment values as being important. And from then, you can build your business model from it. Now, during coronavirus, as I said, I own the HR Boss. We are an HR firm. And I told myself, people might say HR isn't really needed right now because we aren't open. We don't have employees in the physical plant. So I sought to diversify what we do at HR Boss. So what I was doing mainly is teaching employers how to manage employees at home, 1. 2, I was teaching them how to keep employees engaged at home or providing support for employees at home. You can't assume every employee is okay at home and may not need HR support. So that's what a lot of my work has been around. 3, I like to move all of our products and services online. So we made a lot of our money on face-to-face workshops that we kept. A lot of you may have attended the face-to-face workshops. That can no longer happen because there's social distancing. Even with these relaxed restrictions from our Prime Minister today, I'm still not 100% comfortable going back into a hotel environment and doing a face-to-face class. But here we are on a good Friday night in the comfort of our homes, drinking and eating and with our foot in the air. And we're still in an environment where we're learning and we're getting the same value of knowledge. So I have successfully moved all of our courses, which were being offered face-to-face, no online. And what we're actually finding is people don't mind. So we're offering same courses for a longer period of time with more value at a higher price, and we're selling out. So don't be afraid to change up your business model in order to accommodate the current times. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It's been a full hour of me talking about COVID-19. How will it affect the Caribbean region? It has devastated us. We did not see it coming. But like I said, you can only control, or you can only worry about what is in your control, and you can get up and do something about that which you can control. Now, the team at HR Boss, we are here to support you. This is just not me. It's a whole team of us, and we're here for your support. We have a team of resume writers, career coaches, and there's me, fearless leader at the top, and we have had our rest, and we're back out to assist you. Now, our first face-to-face online workshop is this Sunday, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with my teaching style. It's not like tonight. I'm kind of low energy tonight because I had a very long day. But Sunday, I will be in my full energy because it's my first class since February. So I'm going to be in my full form. So if you want to join us for that class, you can. If you can't stop by for that class, we do these lives every 2 weeks right here on YouTube. So you can subscribe to our channel. Our next live will be this Sunday with Tashana Mullings, and she is from Jamaica, but she lives in the UK now. She is a chefing scholar, and she's going to talk about how did she pivot in her career and how you can be a rock star employee. So that's going to be amazing. So you can join us on Sunday at 2 p.m. with Tashana Mullings for that session. Once again, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. And those of you who are joining us for our masterclass, I'm looking forward to it. So thank you guys so much for coming by. Thanks, Kendra. Thanks, Erica. Thanks, Tiana. And I will see you guys on Sunday for our webinar. And those of you who are joining the masterclass, I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to it. So see you guys. Bye.